Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to another episode here on European Confessions. The following story that you're going to be listening to, it comes from a translation of a message that I received. Strange things indeed they do happen in this world. And the message, it reads like this. Do not come here acting as if you are holy, and please, I do not want anyone acting holy in my comments when some of you are doing worse. I just thought that it is better for me to tell you the truth as it is. If there is anyone that is going to throw a stone at me, he should also stand right next to me, and he can tell, or she tell her own story and see if the whole world is not going to throw stones at them. The Bible says, do not judge, for if you judge, you are going to be judged by the Most High. I grew up in Umlazi. My mom, she was a good Christian woman. Church was all that she knew. May her loving soul rest in peace. We would go to church every Sunday and listen. Yes, I did listen. If she had not taken us out of the church that we knew, not wanting to mention that name of the church, if we were still going to that traditional church, I was never going to be this ritualist woman that I am right now. But she started going with us to a Pentecostal church. And listen, I did listen. When the preacher preached, I did listen. When the preacher said, you need to chase away the spirit of poverty, I listened very well. And I knew that the spirit of poverty had to be defeated. Just that when I was still very young, I did not know how exactly I was supposed to defeat this spirit of poverty. My mom, she survived by selling amagwinya to pay for our school fees. As for me, I was the girl who always wanted out of the location, and I hated poverty with my whole heart. When I would think about the way that my mom used to struggle, there were days when I was even embarrassed to know that she was my mother. I told myself that one day I will never have to count coins, because when we wanted to buy even something so simple like bread, we had to look for coins even from underneath the bed. I wanted to make it work, and I did not even care what it was going to take in order for it to make it to work. By 21, I was a slave queen. I was a slave queen full time. I had my nails done, wigs, and I always had men that were praying, men that will kneel down in front of me. And as for Instagram, may God bless those that made Instagram, for Instagram was my CV. I knew which clubs to be in, which tables to sit near, and which blessers, the right blessers even so, to smile at. I then moved from KZN and I came with my boyfriend. That is how I started communicating with foreign blessers, because as for my boyfriend, he had always been working in the security sector, and he was recruited by these other two Nigerians who had opened up a new club in town, and they wanted him to be their bodyguard. And this man, he was the one who brought me so close to these blessers that I always wanted, blessers that had swag, blessers that could really take good care of me. The day when I met my first blesser, the guy, he bought me a bottle of Ace of Spades with a knot. You really look so beautiful, and I want to be with you. I went to his table, and when I looked at him, the first thing that I looked at a man when I will be with him is the kind of a watch that you will be putting on his wrist. And this guy, he had a golden Rolex, and I looked at his shoes. They were original. I even smelled the cologne. Oh, I even knew it by its name. The smell, this guy smelled so nice. That night, we left. He had a beautiful car. He had a V-Class. We had no sex. He gave me 20K just to be with him, just to cuddle with him in bed. He gave me 20K, and I was pleased with the work that I had done on that night. He said, when you are with me, then you need to know that your life is going to change forever. 3 months later, I had dumped this guy because this was always the template that I was going to follow. When I moved from KZN coming to Johannesburg, I had that same template that I had used in order for me to date this guy who was a bodyguard at that club. I met him through another boyfriend that I used to date back in KZN, who used to work at this other car wash. So I would go there not wanting to be with him. I'll just pretend as if I was someone that was madly in love with my poor boyfriend. But I knew that the richest blessers, they regularly go to these small-time car washes just to support the local economy. And I made sure that when I would see a blesser that would have brought their beautiful car, I would always hang around. And when my boyfriend was too busy washing the car, I would go and sit right next to that man where he would be seated. That is how I started dating my boyfriend, the guy that who brought me to Johannesburg. I played the same card on him. I used that same template. When he started working for those Nigerians, he would go with me to that same club. He'll be like, honey, you can just wait for me here. What he did not know was that he was playing with a woman who wanted to defeat poverty with all that God and her mother had given to her. I was not going to waste my assets on a man who was just a bodyguard who stood by the door of that club. He was not able to lift me out of poverty. He had a beautiful car, a nice apartment, but he was below my league. I wanted someone better. That is how I started dating this Nigerian guy. The Nigerian guy told me that he had a lot of friends who had a lot of tenders, and I was pleased with myself with the work that I had done. That very same year, after I had dated this guy for 3 months, he made a mistake to go with me to this other party. When we went to that party, I ended up meeting this other guy from Zim who had a big company, and they were busy making roads, and he was making millions. He was from Zim, and I saw that there was no need for me to hang around with my Nigerian blesser, because for me, a man is not all about love and romance. A man is about money. If you do not have enough money than what your friend has, I will jump ship and you will see me with your friend. That is exactly what I did to this Nigerian guy. After I had dumped him, it only took me just a little while for me to be on a vacation with this Zim guy. But little did I know that some of these people that we see with all the money that they have, some of these people, they are devil worshippers. As for the Nigerian guy that I was dating, he was someone that hustled, but his hustle was clean. Oh, how I wish I was still with him. If only I was still with him. I know very well that my mother was not going to die, but I lusted after his friend, after his money. I wanted what he will do for the wife. When he bought a Porsche for the wife on her birthday, I said, this is what I want. We went to Dubai. We were in the Emirates first class. We landed in Dubai. Oh, wow, how amazing it was. We went shopping. He took me on a yacht. He bought me too many Versace dresses, so much that I lost count. So much jewelry. The one that I sold when we returned back to South Africa. And we went to this other penthouse party. There were so many women that were there from different parts of the world, and there were blessers from so many nations, Nigeria, Congo, Arab countries, and the music. And it was so beautiful. But in the middle of everything, my guy took me and we went out. He said that there was something that was bothering him. I asked him what was bothering him. It then turned out that the spirit of his mother was now making all of his equipment that they were using when they were making the roads to always break down. And as for the project, he had been given a deadline to finish the road that they were making. Otherwise, they were going to be kicked from the project. So even though we were on this little romantic getaway vacation, but still he told me that he was so stressed. He told me that he had once visited a tradition. It turned out that he used to be someone that used to struggle quite a lot in his life, but he made a decision to go and get some Lucky Charm oil from this other traditional healer. I asked him why he was telling me all of these things. He told me that he trusted me and he wanted me to assist him. He wanted me to go with him to his country. He promised me a very sweet life. He promised me that he was going to give me 50K in monthly allowances, and he was going to help me to get a beautiful apartment even in Santon if I wanted. And he was going to buy a car, a Mercedes CLA, that he said that he was already in the process of buying, and he was going to give it to me as a gift. And all that he wanted was for me to go with him to his country in Zim. And he was like, if you trust me, we can go together. Of course, I wanted what he was promising me, and we went to his country. When we went to his country, we literally had to drive from Johannesburg to Harare. It was a very long time, and I did not have any papers. As for border control, no problem. He handled everything whilst I was sitting in the car. But there was one funny thing that he kept on doing. We would drive maybe for 200 kilometers, and he would get out of the vehicle and he will start to speak with the vehicle as if this V-Class was a human being. He told me that his mother's spirit was connected to that car that we were using. We finally arrived in his village. When we arrived in his village, he took me and he introduced me to all of his relatives. I even went to the graveyards with him, where we did a small little introduction where he told me some snuff to inhale and to pour it on his mother's grave. The night before we drove back to South Africa, we went to visit this other traditional healer, whom he told me that the healer is from Malawi. This man, he used a mirror to do whatever that he does when you are consulting with him. But something strange happened, for in that mirror, when I was given the mirror, I saw my own mother, and I could not make any connection at all as to why my mother was appearing in that mirror. And I was given a needle. If I had only known that when you do this, it means that you are sacrificing the person that is in the mirror, I could have refused. Even though I am a woman that loves money, but I could have refused. I took that needle and I stabbed my mother, trying to assist my boyfriend so that his businesses can run smoothly. As he was asking me, he said that I do not have a mother anymore. I am an orphan, but you have both of your parents still alive. At least try to speak with your mother or your father in the spiritual realm so that you can help me, so that I can make money. How else will I take care of you, babe, when I do not have money? You deserve so much more in your life. And remember what I promised you when we were still in Dubai. So I agreed to stab my mother, and I saw droplets of blood, and he told me that this was only being done in the spiritual realm. My mother was going to be okay. When we returned back to South Africa, I had been given some charms which I was supposed to put in the food that I was going to cook for my mom. We went to Umlazi. It was me and my boyfriend. And I told my mom that I wanted to cook a favorite meal, pap and chicken stew. And I did as she had asked me to do. And she was so happy looking at her son-in-law, who was very wealthy. I put the charms in the food and I gave the food to my mom. She ate that very same night. She prayed for me, and there was one thing that she said in her prayer. It really hurt me to this very day. God, protect my daughter from the evil people. And if only she could know that I was the one that was evil. At 2 a.m., The guy that I was with woke me up and he told me that I was supposed to go into my mother's bedroom. There were things that I was supposed to go and leave there. My mother woke up and she even asked me what I was looking for in her bedroom so late at night. I told her that I was looking for an adapter because I wanted to charge my phone and the adapter was not working. She said okay. She rolled over and returned back to sleep. I had a small carved wooden coffin that I slid underneath her bed, which was now going to collect her spirit. My mother, she passed away days later, but in the hospital. It was because of a heart attack. At the funeral, people were crying. I also wanted to cry, but I had been told that I was not supposed to cry, and people thought that I was being strong, but no, I had been told that if I cry, then it meant that I was not going to enjoy the money that was going to follow me. 2 weeks later, back in Joburg, I was given some money to start my own small business. I opted for a salon because what else could I do? Instead of buying me the car that I wanted, that he had promised me, he said, how about I give you this car, one of his white Range Rover, and he assisted me. I stay at one of the properties that belongs to his company. I am someone that is considered to be blessed by God, but people do not even know that I do not sleep at night. That is why I said, do not judge me or judge me according to the things that I have done, because I am already being judged by God. The only issue that I face is that I am addicted to alcohol. There is nothing that I can do when I am sober. I have to stay drunk at all the times. I have been arrested for drunk driving several times. The moment that I get sober, I start to hear voices in my head, and these are the voices of my mom. She will be speaking with me. God bless me, I have never tried or attempted to take drugs, even though the temptation is there. It is not an easy lifestyle, to tell you the truth. That is why I prefer to judge myself than to be judged by other people, for God is already judging me. It is not an easy thing to always hear voices in your head at all the times. People think that there is no such thing as money rituals. Money rituals are for real, and money rituals, they are not for those that are spiritually weak. I have gone to Dubai several times. Instead of enjoying my life when I am in Dubai, I always feel so guilty when I remind myself that this is where it all started. When I said that I wanted to chase away the spirit of poverty, it all started in Dubai when the conversation happened between me and my boyfriend, when he told me that he was unable to communicate with his mother's spirit anymore because there were things that he had not done in time, and he wanted me to help him to go with him to his country, where I ended up sacrificing my own mother. I have seen the spirit of my mother, I do not know how many times. And what hurts me the most is that I already had a daughter that I had with my ex, but my daughter, if you look at him, you will feel so sorry for him. She has an allergy. She is allergic to almost everything. My daughter goes to a special school. She can't even go out and play. She is even allergic to the lawn. If she goes to play on the lawn, she starts to get so sick. She can get a swollen face because she just rolled over on the lawn. I can't even stay with my daughter because she is a special needs child because of so many allergies that she has. But it is not only allergies, it is a way of the ancestors of that traditional healer that assisted my boyfriend to keep on making money. That is the punishment that they give you. You cannot get money for free without being punished. When you post my story, please tell me. I'll be following in the comment section. I really do not care as such as to what people are going to say to me. All that I want to say is that magic is for real, juju is there, and people are making money using charms. It depends how strong you are spiritually. Dear listeners, right there was a message that was sent to me by one of our sister. Strange things do happen in this world.